Hello and welcome to OpenLM. My name is Sagi, and today I'm going to show you who we are, what we do, and how OpenLM can help you stretch your licenses to their limits. So, our story starts with our co-founders who used to work as a GIS manager and a GIS software team leader. They found that their organization purchased new ArcGIS licenses frequently, while many of them had been purchased but not actually used for one reason or another. Now, this gave them a vision of something better, a vision of efficient license usage, where new software licenses are purchased only when really needed. They went ahead and created OpenLM and have never looked back since. They duplicated this concept of what they've done with ArcGIS to Autodesk and has since spread to more and more engineering software applications. So their vision was a world in which all organizations would be able to forecast their exact requirements for engineering software licenses and get the most usage that they can from their concurrent license pool. So today, our mission is to empower the organization to be a part of that vision. The first product that we brought to the market was snatched up by license admins, by IT managers in municipalities, manufacturing companies, engineering consultancies, and so on. Well, we do it with passion. This passion was passed down from founders to the team. This passion is getting the highest possible usage from expensive licensed software. This is what OpenLM is all about. We empower organizations to stretch their licenses to their limits. So let's talk a little bit about us. Who are we? Well, OpenLM's core business is software license administration solutions. We are dedicated to the organization itself that uses the engineering software, and we are not dedicated to the vendors who sell it. We were established in 2009. Our HQ is in Israel, but we are active globally. We've got local support centers in USA and Europe, but we also have local representation in Japan and Korea as well. We have over 700 customers worldwide. Now it's 800. More than 300 of them are in the US alone. Well, so how does OpenLM help you? Well, first of all, it's a tool for organizations that use engineering software. It lets you know what licensed software you have and lets you monitor its usage by your engineers. So you can keep your software licenses under control and you can forecast the correct number of licenses that your organization needs. So, for example, you will be able to avoid over licensing, meaning throwing away money on expensive engineering software licenses that are not actually used. It will also help you to avoid under licensing, meaning having too few software licenses. Now, this makes your engineers wait because they get denied, and this delays projects. Well, and another huge benefit is the fact that OpenLM can give you the ability to monitor usage for chargeback billing. So, how does OpenLM do that? How does OpenLM help you cope with the license-related challenges? One example of those challenges is changing vendor licensing models. When vendors want to change their licensing models, OpenLM helps you understand the impact of such change. Another problem you may be familiar with is needing more information about your software license inventory. Your whole license inventory can be monitored by OpenLM to give you a better understanding of the licenses you have and which ones you actually use. OpenLM provides you with a clear statistical insight regarding your license usage. And then there's the compliance with licensing policies issue, which OpenLM helps you to avoid fines from unintentional usage of vendor software which is not in accordance with the end user license agreement. It helps you to avoid unexpected software expenses and audits. OpenLM comes with an API which lets you get the information that has been collected and processed by OpenLM and bring it into other IT systems. OpenLM promises high availability for your engineering software. It will help you keep your license manager servers running at high availability by managing redundancy in your license manager. So, for example, you can deploy 3 license servers, and OpenLM will redirect the request to the preferred or available license server. OpenLM pretty much empowers you. It empowers you to discover your license inventory. It empowers you to know what happens to licenses which you acquired for project which are no longer active. So OpenLM will help you find those licenses from old finished projects and put them to good use. OpenLM implements best practices. It will help you to find out when your engineer is keeping a hold on the licenses that they checked out, but they don't actually use. So OpenLM will enable you to do all this for expensive software from thousands of different engineering software product vendors, such as these. That means that OpenLM supports tens of thousands of engineering software applications. That includes AutoCAD, ArcGIS, MATLAB, many more. You can see all the market leaders here. And OpenLM also supports these license managers, 25 different license managers. And if you're involved in floating license administration, you probably know all about license managers. We support 25 different license managers. As you can see, these are all the leaders of the market. You got FlexLM here, you got DSLS, you got IBM, Hasp, which is an older one, but we also support that. We support just about everything on the market. But don't take our word for it. Here are just some of our customers. As you can see, from the energy, from aerospace, engineering, automotive, governmental, military, and academic areas. So if you can ask them. So who actually benefits from OpenLM? In the organization that uses OpenLM, there are usually many different stakeholders that enjoy the benefits it provides. So some will work hands-on, while others will simply receive essential reports. So let's take a look at the IT manager, for example. OpenLM first benefit for the IT manager is to show how many engineering software licenses and features your organization has purchased. It will help you to plan license maintenance and procurement of expensive licenses. You'll have a way to charge projects or business units for software usage time. You'll be able to cut costs by dropping maintenance for licenses that are no longer in use. And you'll have accurate software usage information to report to management, and you'll be able to make an informed decision as a result. Now let's take a look at the license administrator. OpenLM will give you real-time usage management and troubleshooting. It will give you license usage statistics and patterns. It will let you harvest idle licenses, either automatically or manually, and thus optimizing your license utilization. It lets you restrict license usage according to user permissions that you define, and provides you with accurate software information that you can use to get better deals when negotiating with the vendor. If you're the economist, for example, you'll be able to identify unjustified expenses on software that's not actually used. You'll be able to distribute costs, charge groups for the usage, and better allocate your your organization budget. If you're the end user or the engineer that uses the app itself, OpenLM will give you, first of all, better license availability. You can get informed about the status of the denied license and receive a notification when a license becomes available. So no need to try and get the license again and again. You will just get notified. They'll know who is using the license that they need, and they will be presented with that person's contact details so they can call them up and tell them, hey, I need the license. Are you using it? So at the end of the day, license unavailability periods are drastically minimized and license utilization is greatly improved. Now, let's take a look at the project manager. So if you're the CAD or CAM manager or even a GIS project manager, OpenLM will ensure your team gets the software resources it needs to get the job done without any delays. And let's not forget the board members and the top level executives. OpenLM will satisfy their requirement and can be a lifesaver for those who are asked to provide those reports. So, for example, what are you going to do when the director of global engineering, for example, demands to know which global licenses units are using engineering apps in compliance with the vendor licensing agreement? What are you going to do when he wants to know how much of his multi-million-dollar a year engineering software budget is being utilized and how much money is essentially going down the drain? So many of our customers once wrote custom query scripts to query the usage data directly from the license manager. But they soon got stuck with unexpected problems. So even though that they had a good knowledge of how a license manager works, there was always something missing. License managers come in many different formats that vary tremendously between license managers and even vary between different versions of the same license manager. So writing those scripts took a lot of time, and maintaining different versions was simply a nightmare. This was partially due to undocumented changes in license files and in option file structure. So in the end, the information that they actually extracted was limited and at best not reliable. And of course, they had no support or assistance whatsoever. So poor guys. OpenLM, what it does, it replaces the scripts with concrete, validated, and reliable information. OpenLM is a fully supported software package with a very strong support team behind it, and it gives you many optional extra functions that you can never achieve using scripts, such as group billing, role-based security, license expiry notifications, idle time collection, automatic app close and suspension. You have a lot of things that OpenLM does that you can simply not do with those scripts. So there are three main products in the OpenLM product lineup. You got your OpenLM Core, which allows you to monitor engineering applications which operate under a license manager, meaning floating licenses. You can install the OpenLM Core product on your servers, or you can use the cloud deployment of OpenLM. The second product is the OpenLM App Manager, which enables tracking and control of any software in the organization, meaning if it's named licenses, if it's floating licenses, doesn't matter. It even can track applications which do not use a license manager at all. And lastly, we have the OpenLM License Router, which intercepts requests from users to pull licenses and reroutes them according to criteria that you define. And then there are the OpenLM extensions. To keep your first experience with OpenLM simple and to keep the entry cost low, we have separated advanced functionality into 10 optional extra extensions. So I'll briefly just mention three, just to give you an idea of what they can give you. So the OpenLM Alerts extension, for example, you can get notified when a certain criteria are met, such as a license is about to expire, a license is being used up to 90% capacity, session duration goes over 12 hours. You have a lot of options there. The OpenLM actual usage extension shows the usage time versus the idle time per session, so you'd be able to know what the users are actually doing, if they're working, or maybe they're on Facebook, or maybe they just went home and they are using the license. And then there's the OpenLM Reporting Hub, which is a self-service BI. A self-service BI enables you to pretty much custom query your database, just dragging and dropping different columns to create different reports. It's very simple. We have many, many more, and if you're interested in hearing more about the OpenLM extensions, we'll be happy to explain more in depth. Just send us an email to support@openlm.com. So what is actually so special about OpenLM? Well, we have more supported apps than any other license management platform. OpenLM is the only tool that organizations are buying to actually replace Flexera's FlexNet Manager. Our support team is well known for providing professional and personal support with full availability, not high availability, full availability. And we are constantly introducing new functionality into our products. So quite simply, OpenLM gives you so much for such a low price. You simply get the most bang out of your buck, period. So you can try OpenLM for yourself. You first download a free 30-day trial. You get a full and dedicated support from us throughout that period. It's installed in no time, and you'll quickly be familiar with the intuitive UI. So you'll be able to view your usage and start making decisions right away. So go to our download page at our website, openlm.com. Thank you very much for your time. I will now go to a demonstration part of the session. I would like simply to show you a few reports, a few main reports that will help you to understand how OpenLM actually gives you all that. So let's take a look. First of all, when you open OpenLM, you'll be able to immediately see all your license managers that you configured. So I have FlexLM, I have a generic here. You can also add RLM, LMX, just about anything. You can see how many licenses you have and how many are actually being used. Now, this is not special. FlexNet Manager, FlexNet Publisher, all those have some kind of UI that shows you this, but they cannot show you, for example, this report. What does this report show? On the top, you can see the total license quantity. And on the bottom, you can see the license usage itself. So you can see how far you are from maxing out your licenses. Now, what happens when you're maxed out? When you're maxed out, users start getting denied. So this is shown in the denial report. So we can show the denial however we'd like, by user, by time, by day, hour in day, whatever we'd like. Now this is great, but this still doesn't give you a concrete number. Well, how many licenses do I actually need? So for that, we got the license utilization report, which shows you how many licenses you actually need to achieve a certain quality of service. Now, what is quality of service? Let's say that you're okay with the fact that 5% of the times your users will get denied. So out of 100 times, 5 times they will get denied. Let's say that you're okay with that. So how many licenses do you need for that? We look at the QoS the quality of service line here, and it tells us that we only need 45 licenses. We got 70 here, but we only need 45. So let's say that I'm okay with 10% of the times users getting denied. So then I only need 30 licenses. That's a reduction of 40 licenses. That's a huge reduction. I had not long ago a client which had 10,000 licenses for a certain feature, and checking this with a QoS of 95, he only needed 50 licenses. So he was gobsmacked. He was blown away. I seriously try this and you'll see that it will tell you that you need much less licenses than you already have. And you also can take a look at it in the other direction. For example, you have a few projects that had licenses but were never actually used. So the licenses not in use report will show you that. It will show you this feature had 4 licenses that were never used. This feature had 35 licenses that were never used. So this way you can combine all these reports. OpenLM has many more reports, but these are the 4 main ones. If you combine all these, you'll be able to know exactly how many licenses you need, exactly how many licenses you have, and what people are actually doing with them. So this is it for the presentation and demonstration part. Now I would like to answer questions if you have. So if you have any questions, please write them down in the chat box and I'll be happy to answer. I have 2 questions here. I have a question. Do you use usage log files of the existing license manager, or do you monitor usage and create OpenLM data files? Now, the usage is not inserted into data files, but into the OpenLM database. It depends on which license manager you're talking about, but mainly the OpenLM reads the data also from files, like the debug log file of FlexLM, but also simply by monitoring and listening in to the port that the license manager holds. So it really depends on which license manager you are referring to. Where does OpenLM differentiate from JTB Flex Report? What is the key differentiation in comparison in the okay, we have a comparison in our website. If you go to openlm.com, you'll be able to find a FlexLM comparison under the solutions. So for example, let's go to solutions, FlexNet versus FlexLM. And instead of me going over all the differences right here and pretty much boring everybody to death, you can go to the OpenLM website, solutions, FlexNet versus OpenLM, and you'll be able to see all the differences. But mainly in broad strokes, OpenLM shows you data not daily, not minute, but not hourly, but by second. OpenLM gives you much more reports and much more flexibility in the report. OpenLM gives you an extension of power of self-service BI, which pretty much enables you to do anything with a database. So I suggest take a look at this, and you will be pleasantly surprised. Does anyone else have any question for me about what you've seen now about OpenLM? Just about anything? Okay, so I thank you very much for your time. I hope this webinar was informative. I hope that you were able to understand what we do how we do it, and how passionate we are in doing it. So thank you. Thank you all very much for your time.